Affirmative. Okay. Welcome to the Benches Spoken, a Survivor podcast by Bench Point. We do a weekly recap of each Survivor episode. I'm Becca, and this is Mary, and we are longtime friends and longtime Survivor fans. Mary's going to get us kicked off this week with a recap of this week's episode.
That was a good one. It was a sad one. So we come back to camp after tribal council. We see Christina and Steven bonding over being at the bottom and Alex going home. We see Savannah, Sophie B, Sophie S, and Rizzo not being shy at all about getting together and already strategizing about who's going to be next, throwing Steven out there. And then we see sort of like an interesting, surprising, to me anyway, twist where suddenly Jawan and Steven no longer think they can trust each other, and we sort of get hints that maybe they're going to turn on each other in this episode. And unfortunately, Sage starts with letting cats out of the bag by telling Jawan about Christina's idol. Then we go to the challenge, the reward challenge, or award challenge, reward challenge, whatever Becca wants to call it, where we see a really emotional moment from Christina, who kind of gets worked up about her mom. And then it's a really fun challenge where Sophie B and Jawan are captains and choose teams, and have to do a series of balancing acts and getting balls into baskets. And then ultimately, Sophie B's team wins and goes to the sanctuary. Meanwhile, or while they're at the sanctuary, we see Rizzo have an emotional moment. Jawan decides that he's going to be a hero and try to win or catch some fish, which probably means that Becca thinks he's the best athlete ever.
He did catch a fish.
And just people in general kind of being down. But meanwhile, back at the sanctuary, we finally see burgers and hot dogs, which I've been waiting for all season. Sage, again, running her mouth, tells Sophie S about Savannah being the target. And then we go back to camp where the boys decide they're going to form a boy band. Then Sage puts more effort into her plan of trying to get Savannah out. Then we go to the Sophie S, who says that she could see herself playing either side, so it gives us hope for the future. Then ultimately at the immunity challenge, we finally see an individual, like a true individual immunity with a fun challenge. And ultimately, Sophie S shocks and surprises by winning immunity. And then we go back to camp again and see a lot of strategizing and hustling from different people. So many names getting thrown out, so many strategies, so many thoughts on which advantages are going to be played. But ultimately, at Tribal Council, we see Savannah, Sophie B, Sophie S, and Rizzo turning on Jawan and voting out a middle of the road player.
Which made us all sad. We love Jawan. We've been Jawan fans for a while.
Yes.
Yep.
And I feel like, okay, I'm going to get ahead of myself. As usual, our podcast should be let's get ahead of ourselves. Where I feel like it wasn't even his fault. Like this whole thing unraveling was Sage's fault. And I feel really bad that Jawan was the victim of it. I'll just say that right now.
Well, I agree with you, and I think the reason they picked Jawan over Sage is because Jawan is so likable. Like Sage was, I think she's a natural leader, but I don't think she's likable. I think she just speaks up when nobody else does, and she is smart about when to speak and who to speak to. But Jawan, people in general it seemed like people just enjoyed spending time with him.
Yeah.
And can I stay ahead of us? Because this is hilarious. But I wanted to save this for the end, but here we are in the first 5 minutes, and I'm throwing it in there. Jawan taking Rizzo's torch.
That was a great finale to his run on Survivor, where he has the history of stealing people's items.
The only thing that would have made that better if it was Savannah's torch instead of Rizzo's.
I would have loved that. Or if like he accidentally stole her bag as he was leaving.
Yeah,
I would think Rizzo had to hand it to him, otherwise who knows what he would have taken.
Yeah. He's hilarious. But John, we hate to see you go. We've really enjoyed
Yeah.
watching you play, and I think he's got a really fun personality. We can
Yeah.
back up just so we don't miss anything. Let's start off talking about the first award challenge.
Reward challenge.
Reward challenge.
JK. You call it whatever you want
I
to call it.
Yeah, well, award reward challenge. I liked this. Did we see something similar on dry land? I remember this season when Matt was having to go across the balance beam and was just
Oh
failing
yeah.
miserably at it. Was this very similar but on water?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it ended. That one I thought ended with a puzzle because I feel like at that point they were all ending in a puzzle, but I could be wrong. But yes, at least a lot of it was familiar with the balance beam and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought it was familiar. I learned a couple things about people. Um, the first was Rizzo can't balance. Bless his heart. He's got the balance of a potato chip. He's really struggling. I think athletics is not his forte, um, but I do think he has other strengths. So that just
Yeah.
kind of put the nail in the coffin that Rizzo is not strong athletically. Did you think the two teams were even for the challenge?
Let me look at my notes. I think so. Let's see. We had um, Jawan, Christina, Savannah, and Rizzo on one team. Sophie B, Sophie S, Steven, and Sage on the other. Actually, no. I think that it was fairly obvious, like just looking at those two teams, that Sophie B's team was going to dominate
Yeah,
because Sophie S is such an athlete. Steven is great. And so Sage just comes off as athletic. I don't know. We've not seen her win an individual or anything like that, but she just feels it. And I wouldn't say that I've seen Rizzo or Christina give off athletic, and Jawan maybe a little, but not enough.
right, right. No, I agree. Um, After Christina had her moment where she shared about her mom, and it was really emotional. At this point in the game, early on, when people get emotional, and I've not been on Survivor, so I don't know what they're feeling. I don't know how quickly it takes to feel the pressure. All of those things. Those are things that I don't know because I've not experienced them. But this far in the game, okay, if you have a mentee B, a little breakdown, I get it. I understand it, and I
Right.
think hers was like extremely valid. We've seen other breakdowns that have been um, like really strange reason to have a crying montage about. This one made sense. I,
Yeah.
I think it made sense, and it felt genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't. That's just the trouble I have in general with both sob stories or moments where people cry on screen or have like an emotional reaction. Like I'll use Savannah as an example when she started talking about work. It felt so out of nowhere, so disingenuous, and so obviously an attempt to try to emotionally manipulate Steven into feeling sorry for her and like maybe trying to bond or something like that. I don't know. This was just like you felt like she was trying to keep it together. She didn't really want to like have this moment and it just overwhelmed her and came out very genuinely and you could see her like trying to process it, trying to maintain her composure or get her composure back and then she quickly was like, "No, what? I'm in this game. Like let's just do this." And that's when I feel like I can be okay with it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it felt like during the challenge, Jeff wanted her to win too.
Yeah.
It seemed like he
That
was
was
really,
sweet.
really, really pulling for her. And then when she got upside down in the middle of the challenge under the beam, girl,
That was
like,
wild.
yeah, well, that's the hardest like physical effort I've seen
Uh-huh.
anybody give this
Yeah.
whole. So that was, I know they didn't win, but it was still really, really
Yeah.
impressive to
Yeah, good
watch.
for her. And even though they didn't win, that moment had to be one that helped sort of like rejuvenate her for this season, like maybe a little burst of motivation to help push her through the rest of the challenges and stuff, I assume. And maybe
Because
even to this day, she looks back at it as like a powerful moment that positively impacted her.
yeah, well, I think sometimes people have to get in a pressure filled situation for them to prove to themselves they can do it. And then
Yeah.
once they do, I'll be curious to see how she performs in challenges going forward
Yeah.
because she knows she can be physically strong. And she proved it even with the second challenge of this
Yeah.
episode.
Mhm.
She was she was going for. It didn't seem like she
Right.
was just like a total lost cause like it has in the past. And I hate to say that, sorry, Christina, but it
No,
has felt like that
it's fair.
up until this point. My favorite part of the challenge was the very end when they had to throw the ball up in the circle. Did you, when you were in elementary school, did you have on your playground like a tunnel on a pole that you could throw a basketball into, and then it would shoot out
Yeah,
different directions?
I never understood those, but yes, I had that.
That's that. Well, I didn't understand them either. I'm not an athlete. And after I said Christina sucked physically at challenges, Christina, I'm right there with your sister. People would be saying the same thing about me, so I don't feel bad saying it. But that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me
Yeah.
of on the playground where people would like throw the ball up into that tube on a
Yeah.
pole, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, it reminded me of the hook game
Oh
that,
yeah.
like with the two hooks and the rings and you like battle someone to do a shot or like to move the shot. And I happen to be very good at that game. So I was like,
I can
yes, I
attest
could
to
do
that.
this. I could figure out the physics on that. I could dominate. I mean, it's very different, but similar idea, I think.
Maybe that's a spin-off of Survivor where they have challenges that are solely around drinking games.
I love that.
I think that would be fun. And quite frankly, Mary, I think that you would excel.
Maybe that would be the thing I do the best in life. I don't
Yeah,
know.
my hubby's a good drinking game host, so maybe he could be the Jeff
He
Probst of
is. He's really the
shit.
best. We
Yeah,
should do
see,
a
yeah,
live
reach out
drinking
to
game
us.
tonight. Like in between 49 and 50, we should do a live
Oh, that'd
um
be fun.
drinking. We could have bench points on.
Yeah, yep. We could do a collab. Um,
One thing
anyway,
that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing that surprised me about this challenge was that they could use their hands to get
Yeah,
across the room. And I don't feel like that was really communicated because I don't think that um, Rizzo would have fallen off the first time because they were all, like balancing like this. And then even, was it Sophie who like bent over and started to touch it and they were like, you can touch it, you can touch it. Like that was confusing. Like I don't feel like that was clear from
no,
the, and could have
no.
made a difference probably.
I totally agree with you. That felt like I have two toddlers, and as long as they're doing something 80% right, I'm like, go for it. So if you brush your teeth and get 80%, that's great. That's fine. And that's what it felt like in this challenge that they were making exceptions as they went. And
Mhm.
I don't know if this is the case or not, but it very much felt like they were like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Like
sure, whatever.
being more lenient than they
Yeah.
historically would be. I wonder if the players felt like that.
I don't know. Be curious to find out. Maybe we could tag some folks and find out.
Yeah, because I totally agree with you. That seemed like, no, oh, it's fine. Do whatever you want. Just get across. And then Christina, when she was like fully in the water, it was very impressive that she flipped herself back around. But like
Mhm.
80% of her body was in the water.
Yeah.
I feel like any other challenge, Jeff would have been like, go back. But
Yeah.
it didn't. Or maybe there wasn't an easy way for them to go back. I don't know. I
Um,
don't know. But I agree. I felt like that was felt like a sidestep.
yeah.
Um, so after is there anything else you want to say about the
Um,
reward challenge?
nope.
I said the right thing this time. Reward challenge.
I love that for you.
Thanks. I thought about it for a long time. So after the challenge, they obviously the winners went to the sanctuary. Um, and again, we've said that this several episodes this season, but we feel like when they go to the sanctuary in historical seasons, even this isn't a new era, old era conflict,
Mhm.
but just in general, even in new era, it seems like they go and they hustle and they play hard. New alliances are formed, old alliances are broken up. People go into the sanctuary and come out with totally different perspectives. But this season, people are going to the sanctuary, enjoying a casual meal, like saying their hellos and goodbyes and being friendly enough, but going back and just doing what they planned on doing in the first place, which is
Mhm.
sad. I want people to
Yeah.
go to the sanctuary to dig up dirt.
Yeah. I mean, it's a missed opportunity for sure. And I think it just kind of shows how little these people are actually playing the game. And that's evidenced by so many things this season, but that's like a big thing that sticks out in my mind. Like they're not there to play. And I think even as we get further along in the season, it's even more important to take advantage of these opportunities. And this is where you really start to see people get really into it and really, like you said, hustling in prior seasons. And they're just like, still, I want to make a hot dog bowl.
Actually, that
I'm
sounds
not quite sure I
delicious.
understood what that was, but I would eat it. I
Is
love
it
hot
like a hot dog salad?
dogs. I hope so.
Why don't people put hot dogs on salads? What's the difference between that and putting ham on a chef salad?
You ask tough questions, Becca. I don't think the world is ready for hot dog salad, but I could be wrong.
Maybe that's gonna be my
Maybe
next.
do like a taco salad, but it's like hot dogs with just like a little bit of shredded lettuce on top and cheese and onions and stuff.
Yeah, like a Chicago dog salad.
I would eat
I
that.
Yeah. Okay, well, stay tuned, everyone. That's going to be our next business venture. Um, okay, so while they were the winners were at the
Wait.
sanctuary. Go, yeah,
Oh, sorry. No, no. Sorry. I thought you were going to move on to back at camp. Sorry. Go ahead.
that's what I was going to do.
Oh, well,
So you,
did was the discussion between Sage and
oh
Sophie
yeah,
S at the sanctuary? I couldn't really
yeah,
tell. I thought it
yeah,
was.
in the soft hammock.
Soft hammock. I don't know why that made me laugh. That part really, I love Sage so much, and I've been this whole season waiting for her to be really powerful. And every single week, the dang teaser trailers get me, and I think this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it, and then it just falls flat. And she made it clear that she's 100% aware of the fact that Sophie B, Savannah, and Rizzo are in a tight alliance, and that they need to be broken up. How could she not see that Sophie S is part of that? Because they're all together much of the time, and she's voted with them several times now. So I just don't understand like why she thought Sophie S would be the person to tell that to, unless she thought Sophie S would flip because Savannah has been her threat in the immunity challenges.
That's the only thing that would be her saving grace is if she thought she would flip because of the challenge situation. That or maybe she realized my only alliance is with Jawan right now,
Yeah,
and two can't beat six,
that's true. That's true.
but
I
three much better chance of beating five.
right, yeah. I just wish that I could feel that the Stephen, Christina, Sage, Jawan, and I guess that's it. That they could have like been tighter and gotten their shit together. And obviously they did talk to each other and work together to some extent, but I don't feel like they were really all four really on the same page. I don't know how to say that, but
Yeah. Well, it felt hectic. It felt like a very loose
mhm.
agreement between everybody. Mary, before we go back to camp, we forgot the most important part of this entire episode. At the very beginning, when it was, yes, yes, yes.
Are you farting right now?
In the very beginning of the episode, Juwan and Sage were having a chat, and they used the excuse that Sage's stomach hurt and she was farting, and that's why that they were off by themselves, chatting and basking in her
Why
farts.
would he be with her if she was farting? That's not something you need help with or like a
Well, my
companion.
favorite part is Sage very clearly explained that the farting was a front, and then Juwan looked at her and said, "Are you farting right now?"
Oh my gosh. And then when he went back to camp or to where the other people were and he was like, "Oh, she's just farting," or like or she's just gassy right now.
Why would you go up there
I
and
wish
relish
I wish that we could have
it?
seen more of like their reaction to him saying that and like a confessional where someone was like, that just did not make any sense. That's the worst cover story of all time. Like,
Well,
why did you think that?
could he
That's
not have just went up there and be like, "Oh, we're this far in the game stage, just having an emotional day, and I wanted to be a good friend."
yeah.
No, he had to say she's just farting.
Farting. I love it.
Uh,
Joanne.
yeah,
I'm
Joanne,
gonna
that's
miss
one of
him.
the we're gonna miss you.
I can't wait to listen to On Fire because they always Jeff will always go through his notes on the players that
Yeah.
like the notes that he took when he interviewed them and was like, deciding whether people would be on the show. And I really want to hear what he said about Jawan. He talks highly of him often on
Does
the
he?
podcast, so I'm
I feel
excited.
like he's entertaining and just an overall
Mhm.
likable guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. We've talked about this multiple times about the jury and their style and how they come back looking
Mhm.
totally different than they did in the game, because they've showered, had access to food, clothing, and
I
makeup.
missed Alex's outfit tonight. Sorry,
It was
go.
Alex looks like he reversed his age by 12 to 15 years. It was shocking. I thought. Um,
That's a
anyway,
good
I'll be
one.
excited to see about Juwan because his little glasses are stylish. So
Yeah.
I got to imagine that he's got like some fashion sense. So it'll be super fun to see how he does. MC looked beautiful again.
Mhm. What's your prediction for what Jawan will wear? Like his outfit?
Paisley.
Oh,
I bet he'll
okay.
have short
I
sleeve button
think,
up.
yeah, I was gonna say definitely like a short sleeve button up. I was gonna go like almost like retro horizontal or vertical
Oh,
stripes.
yeah, something bold.
Hmm.
Um, it'll be buttoned all the way up here.
It
That's how.
will be.
Yeah,
Sam will love it.
yeah, yep, yep, yep.
All right.
Okay, sorry to sidetrack, but
Mhm.
now we can go back to camp. So the losers of the rewards challenge went back to camp, and they were all starving, which tracked. And a little bit bummed out that they didn't get to go to the sanctuary. So Dwan said that if he was at home and all of his friends were together bummed out, he would feed them snacks.
That's
And they didn't
sweet.
have any snacks, so he went fishing. Do you want to pick it
Love.
up from there?
Well, yeah. So, first of all, my immediate thought was, I forgot they even had the fishing gear, and why are we
Yeah.
not fishing more? Like, why is that not part of this? And that's a tangent, but back in the day, you would have seen that sort of activity a lot more. People trying to do things for the tribe or whatever, or like catch fish to win um, brownie points with the tribe or whatever, especially if you're not like part of a big alliance. But anyway, I digress. So he goes out there and he's trying really hard. He knows how to use that spearfish
Way
thing,
better than Rizzo.
right? And that was also surprising to me that he would know how to use that. And he catches what can only be described as the tiny crab of fish.
Tadpole.
A little tiny baby fish. And he's so proud of himself and so excited to bring it back. And to Savannah's credit, she really did at least try to be like, oh, cool, love that, great.
You got a baby fish. That's awesome. Uh, it reminded me when I was in, I keep going off on tangents, but when I
No,
was
I
in
love it.
youth group in high school, if we brought enough friends to church, the youth group leader would eat a goldfish alive. And that's, I'm not sure why that was our reward, but it was. And the
Did they
fish that
have
he,
snakes at this church that
no,
were okay, being
um,
charmed?
but Jawan's fish was small enough to be swallowed whole by a youth pastor.
We didn't even, I don't think we saw them eating that fish or any
No.
like prep of it or anything. Poor Jawan, he tried so hard.
He did try so hard. So that was, and okay, I'm gonna make the same point I did about, um, I keep wanting to call it Ponderosa. What's it called?
Sanctuary.
Is something called Ponderosa?
Yes, the Ponderosa is where they go before, like when they first get to Fiji, they go to Ponderosa before they get taken to their islands and
Oh,
split up into tribes and stuff. And then I
and
think
this,
they also go to Ponderosa if they're on the jury, like while they're on the jury.
and it's no relation to the Ponderosa restaurant from the 90s.
Unfortunately, no. I mean, they could have a steak buffet or salad bar, and you could get a piece of steak and the salad bar. Man, I miss that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it would be such a treat if there was one Ponderosa open in the world and it was in Fiji, and you could
There's a
only go if you
blockbuster there too.
were, yeah, if you were a Survivor contestant. Um, that would be fabulous.
Makes me
I'm all
want to
over.
apply even more, honestly.
Yeah, that's right. I think the applications would skyrocket. But the people back at camp that were not at the sanctuary also did not do strategizing. And it's anytime the tribe splits, that's a golden opportunity to really dig in, because people are left vulnerable because they don't have their shields around them.
Right.
So anyway, I was disappointed by the amount of gameplay that happened when the tribes split.
Yeah, I agree. And they at least did form a boy band, so there's
True.
that.
Do you want to elaborate on the boy band?
Three boys on a bench, baby. We have Rizzo, Jawan, and Steven. Um, I can't wait to see the reunion show after this season is finished airing. I think it's going to be fantastic.
We can really connect with Three Boys on a Bench because we are two girls on a bench of spoken podcast,
True.
which maybe we'll get to do a collab with them. Two
Oh, I
girls on
love
a bench.
that. I'm going to make a note.
Yeah, that's gonna be our new hashtag. Two girls on a bench. Maybe we'll come up with some Survivor raps and rhymes. Stay tuned.
Oh, Mike is great at coming up with raps about things that no one ever thought there would be rap.
I can't think of a word at all that rhymes with Survivor. Thriver.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, stay tuned. That's coming. That's our third business venture after the hot dog salads.
So I thought that this little bit before Immunity Challenge was interesting. Like when they came back from the reward, back from Sanctuary, and then before they went to the Immunity Challenge, we saw some more work being done by Sage to try to get Savannah out, and we hadn't really seen the actual footage of her like really pushing hard and trying to sell people on it until this episode. But it makes so much sense, and for a hot second, there was hope that Sophie S would be open to switching sides.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's smart that Sophie S kept her? Because I mean, when she said Savannah's also a challenge threat, so my excuse for not being a challenge threat is that was smart, I thought.
Yes, agreed. Um, I I think this sort of highlights a problem I've had with this whole season, where I don't think people are thinking through to the end, like what's going to happen once you get past like to a final five even or a final four, because Sophie S is not the one that they're going to keep. Sophie B and Savannah and Rizzo are going to get rid of her if they can or when they can, because she's won immunity challenges. She's been swing votes and helping make choices about who's going home. Like those are things that are threatening in the end. So I just feel like this was her chance to make a move, and she knows she can beat Jawan and Sage and Christina in immunity challenges. Like, why not be like you get rid of Savannah or Rizzo and you become a power player? So I don't know. I felt like it was a miss, but
I have another thought. This week, I was doing some research on Survivor, like duos, trios, groups of people that really dominated. And so I did a deep dive into the Black Widow Brigade. This has the potential to be Black Widow Brigade V2, because the only men left are Steven, Rizzo.
that's it.
That's it. So the girls could just band together.
Yeah, that's true. I still. Do you
I
think
don't,
Steven will be the next one out then, unless he wins immunity? Or do you think they'll
or
be ready to
Christina.
turn on Rizzo?
They need to. Well, Sage is the only one who's smart enough, in my opinion, that isn't. But she's in the minority now, so it doesn't matter. But when she had the numbers, they needed Rizzo or Savannah gone. They needed them because we've been saying this for the last 3 episodes. There is nothing they can do to get rid of Savannah, Rizzo, or Sophie B. Something that's interesting to me is Sophie B was in a lot of the conversations, but her, like, she's been very active in this season, but her name does not get thrown out at all.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to be very strategically, like flying below. She's in the right alliance, but flying below the radar.
Yeah.
So she's doing everything right, but without. My only thought with her is she's got to make a move if she's going to get jury votes. But she's been stealthy.
I at this point believe that this either is going to be what she does or it has to be what she does to win,
Take those.
is to take Rizzo's idol and use it to affect the vote so that either Rizzo or Savannah goes home. Um, and that way she can knock out someone who's a threat to her, have a power play, um, show that she's been strategic about keeping her knowledge's power secret, and so on. And I think you're right. Like she's obviously strategic. She's obviously like a social player and stuff like that. Like she's keeping a tight alliance, but friendly with other people. Um, I think people just are so threatened. Like Rizzo is got an idol and Savannah keeps winning immunity, so they're the bigger threats I think in people's minds than Sophie B. And she's also got Sophie S, who's you know been a threat in challenges as well. So I think she's like the least of anyone's concerns outside of that alliance, and probably the one in the alliance that they'd be most likely to take to the end because she hasn't had a lot of big power plays. But I think if she uses that knowledge as power correctly, she can really turn that around for herself.
Yeah. Um, I totally agree. Are we at tribal council, or do you want to talk more about the
Well, we
prep?
got the immunity challenge.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
How
The
can we forget?
immunity challenge. How can I forget? I loved this challenge.
Me too. It was so
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. It was like the right amount of anticipation. It moved along quickly. The ones that it's like do one position and let's just wait each other out, those are fine. And I like them when there are three or four players because it really heightens the stress of it
Mhm.
all. But the fact that this was like multiple steps and it included a puzzle, which has been very rare this season, an individual puzzle. Um, I really enjoyed watching it. What did you think about that seesaw? Phew, phew.
I when I saw that teeter tunnel, I lost it. I was so excited. Um,
Teeter tunnel, that's
it's
right.
so fun. I wanted to be in it. And then as people were going through it and it was like slamming on the ground, my back was just hurting, like watching everybody get jostled around.
It
I
spit them
really,
out.
I was thinking about like, so they allegedly make all these things in advance of the season, and they never know who's going to be playing in these challenges by the time they get to them. And I was just thinking of like, what if Rudy was on this season and had to go through the teeter tunnel? Maybe he
Just
would have
like,
thrived. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was fun. And then I thought, I agree with you. It had like little short bursts of things to do that could trip you up a little bit, but weren't too hard. And then the puzzle at the end was like not an overwhelming puzzle. And as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking like it would make sense for Steven to be really good at this because he's really smart. And sure enough, he and Sophie S were like right in it. I was really surprised how well she did at the puzzle.
yeah.
But
Well, she just dominated
Mhm.
the puzzle. The I imagine walking across the teeter totter with the blocks on a platform was way harder than it
Yeah,
looked. It had to have been. I thought about everybody's strategy where some were like, okay, I'm taking three. I'm just going to go balls to the wall and take as many as I can. I don't know if I would have taken that approach or if I would have said, okay, let me do one, see how it goes, then
oh
I'll go
wow,
back to
yeah,
two. I thought it was really interesting to see how each person like positioned it. But Steven was like, screw it. Like,
yeah.
we're going. Two passes is all it took him. And then he went and lost anyway. Sorry.
Poor Steven. I mean, I guess at least he's still around. But
Yeah.
I was surprised. It felt, if I remember correctly, Christina, I think, came out of the gates swinging. Like she was doing really well. And then I think was it the balancing that sort of
Yeah.
tripped her up.
Yeah.
So she was the last one to start her puzzle. But I was like, wow, okay, here she comes.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody this season is particularly good at puzzles. There was one, who was the person that got voted off early on that was killing?
Jason.
Jason.
Mhm.
He was killer at puzzles. But other than that, everybody's been real lackluster. Maybe that's why they haven't provided as many for them
Yeah.
to do. They're like, oh, we have to go back to the um, elementary puzzles.
Right, yeah, like the small one that
Yep.
everybody can do.
To
That's
get but I liked it. I think that I would have, if I had guessed before the challenge started, looking at the challenge and looking at the contestants, I would have picked. I don't know who I would have picked. Steven,
Yeah,
probably.
I think I would have picked Steven. Or maybe honestly Savannah again, just because
Yeah.
she's a reporter and surely they're good at puzzles. I don't know.
They're good at everything else.
I also wanted to say I thought the thing where they had to like turn the discs, like that was
Cool.
a cool little thing because it doesn't look like it's that hard, but maybe in that moment with the adrenaline pumping, it might be a little frustrating or difficult to do that. And then we didn't talk about the rice, the
Uh,
anticlimactic rice um,
I'm
negotiation.
surprised I even left that in because nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
nobody even like blinked an eye at setting out. Do you think Jawan would have sat out, or do you think he was just
I think
negotiating?
he would have sat out. And I wonder if that's why they kept it in because it kind of pointed to a what if. Like if they had decided to go for the rice and two people sat out, who would they have been and would it have affected how the vote went? Would he still be in the game? Or maybe it was just to give him one more highlight because they knew that he was going to be gone.
Yeah, because
It
it
was,
was.
I thought it was so funny watching him like this.
But he's done that all season. He keeps on Uncle Jay, Uncle Jay, Uncle Jay.
It made me laugh when he said how about two for half the rice and Jeff said no and then somebody said like isn't this supposed to be a negotiation and Jeff said yeah but that doesn't mean I have to say yes and then Jawan said um what about a quarter and Savannah was like hold on let's hear
Yeah,
his
yeah, we're not doing it.
but yeah.
I don't know. But that's the first time this whole season anybody's mentioned rice for the first
Yeah.
time. And to Rizzo's point, that you have 7 days left.
Yes, I love that. That was very insightful, I thought. Like
Yeah.
I don't it's only another week without it. I wonder if rice negotiations, I don't wonder, I feel like they were a bigger deal when it was a 39-day situation
Yeah.
versus 20, was it
Everybody
8 or
this
something now, 26?
episode looked exceptionally skinny. Did you notice that?
I did notice that Christina looked a lot smaller. I don't know if I really paid attention to anybody else.
I thought
Oh,
Sophie
and
looked smaller.
Sophie S. I think she's got like a really athletic build, and
Yeah.
today she had like lost weight to the point where it really highlighted that. I felt like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think we're getting to the point where you can tell people are losing weight. Some people don't believe that they actually don't get to eat. I don't think they get to eat. I
I don't
don't.
even.
No, I don't think they get to eat. Um, and honestly, it's impressive that they complete the challenges at all. And I'm always critical about people's challenge performance, but if I hadn't eaten in 8 hours, I can't imagine going out there and burning 400 to 700 calories on
Right.
a
Yeah.
physical challenge like that. It's not. I'm certain it's not easy. Um, they got to be mentally tough about it. When they
Also, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you
I was just gonna say, I also felt like the rice negotiation was interesting timing because a bunch of people had just, like, half of them had just gone to the sanctuary. So then you only have four people who are really, like, truly hungry in that moment, probably. So it just felt like a weird time to do that. I don't
yeah.
know.
Somebody should have said, Juwan, if you would have caught a bigger fish, we wouldn't have to be worrying about a rice negotiation.
They could have, like, fish fried rice.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Look at those chickens. Did they eat all those chickens?
We haven't heard any more about the chickens either. So there's so many things that kind of feel like they get sprinkled in as like almost like novelty things.
Right, like
Like
filler or something.
when Jeff started talking and he said, "Well, we haven't talked about this all season and it's so many days and nobody's eaten." I thought it was going to be the auction.
Oh, man, that would have been fun.
That's what my brain was gearing up for. But it's got to be soon if they're going to do it. Surely
Yeah.
they have to do it. Auction is my favorite episode of every single season. I freaking love the
It's
auction.
so fun. And it's like, it's fun to see what things are offered. It's also fun, the anticipation of who's going to end up with money left. Um, and then, like, who's going to get screwed over by, the covered items and picking whatever. I love it. And who's going to share or not share.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully, we get to talk about that more in depth in an actual auction episode.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that's what he was coming up with, and he was like, "Here's a shitty ass bag of rice." No, nobody wants that. Literally, no one. No one wants that. Um, Nobody wants that. And it would have been a death sentence if somebody would have agreed to sit out, I think.
Yeah.
Poor Juwan, he almost agreed to sit out, and that was enough of a death sentence.
I almost thought that Christina was going to because she had the idol, and I thought she probably like if I were her. And again, no offense to Christina, but you've not won anything, and you've not been like no individual situation have you even come close to winning. So, and then the other challenges, a lot of them not the best. So if I were her, I would have been like, I would be willing to sit out because I know I'm not going to win this, and I have an idol.
Yeah,
But maybe then she worried that people would know that she had the idol, and
because to her knowledge at that point, she didn't think people knew,
yeah.
which is wild.
Yeah.
They played her like a fiddle. They knew. You don't think so?
No, I'm shaking my head
Oh,
like it was sad.
yeah,
Yes.
it was sad. They knew they had no intention of voting for Steven, and they knew if they floated that out there that she was going to be the hero and play her idol for them. They're flushing idols. Why is nobody flushing Rizzo's idol? And now I really am jumping ahead of myself. What was he doing at tribal council? Why did he do that? Why?
That was so annoying. That was such a jerky thing to do. And I mean, he can play that off in a way that you don't want to punch him in the face, but it still felt like just obnoxious and mean and over the top. So I don't know. Especially, I don't know, like to be mean toward Jawan, I'm confused. It's not
I,
like Jawan was coming after him. Jawan was coming after Savannah and probably could have tried to work with him and Steven and maybe even Sage once they got rid of Savannah to be the new dominating force. So I'm just confused by the whole situation.
I
But
felt like if I was on Survivor this season, that tribal council, and he pulled some shit like that, I would be like, I don't. It's like you're wasting our time. You're making a mockery of the fact that you have an idol. Everybody already knows you have an idol. Like, why are you showboating? Nobody,
yeah,
nobody, nobody cares. Play it or don't
agreed.
play it. Get away. You're not taking things seriously. That would have ticked me off. I don't understand the purpose of it. But the thing is him, Savannah, and Sophie are in such a power position. They can do whatever the heck they want, and they're
Yeah.
trolling because they can.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I mean, I can't even be mad at it anymore. Like, these people are just laying down and letting those four win this game. And today, I'm getting a little, I guess, off track, but today was the first time that I watched the episode and did not, like, come away with bigger dislike for Savannah because today was the first time I saw her like truly own being a villain. She
yeah,
wasn't doing like sob stories to the camera after being mean to people or anything like that. She was like owning the fact that she's gonna be direct with you. She's owning the fact that she's manipulating and strategizing and stuff like that. And that I'm happy with. That I can get behind. And now I just feel like they're the ones who deserve to win because they're the only ones playing this game. Sage is trying, but she's not trying hard enough.
yeah. She wants to talk about farts and blackheads instead of alliances and idols. Sage.
Yeah.
Um, no, I totally agree with you with that, Savannah. Overall, but I will tell you, I got the biggest ick when she was like, "Who are you voting for? Who are you voting for, Christina? Who are you voting for?" And then when Christina turned around and walked away and was like, "I need a minute, girl." No, if somebody meets you confrontational like that, answer. Say you. I'm voting for you. She knows the answer. She wouldn't have been asking that question.
Yeah. I yeah, I didn't like that interaction for sure, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know how to explain how I feel about it. It felt like bullying, but it also felt like just a moment in this episode that like was evidence of how this entire season is going where
Yeah.
no one's going to stand up to them, no one's going to like
Well, I think that's more of what I was. I don't think it felt like bullying. I like Christina. I was like, stand up for yourself, and say what you're gonna do because what she's doing is intimidating you.
right,
Turn it
yeah.
back around. Turn it back around. Say, hey, nobody wants you here. If you lose the next challenge, you're getting votes. Like
Yeah.
she needs to be scared because her whole thing we've seen it time and time again is getting in people's heads and being manipulative and trying
Mhm.
to push their buttons and trying to get them scared and trying to get them to question themselves, which is great, brilliant. Survivor player, love it. All those things are great, but somebody's got to beat her at her own game.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Christina would ever be the one to do that though, because she's
Who do
too
you think was
nice. So,
Sage?
but like, she could have just made something up in that moment, but I know I would be the same way in that situation. If people confront me like that, I can't lie and I can't fix my face, so I would have done the same thing. But yeah, it was an unfortunate interaction.
I was just waiting for Christina to turn around and be like, "You bitch!" Like
Yeah.
you're a goner. But that's was high hopes for, and I had no reason to believe that would happen. I just made it all up in my head, but
Would have
that's
been
what I
nice.
wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and going into travel, I was so confused because so many names had got thrown out, and
Mhm.
then there were so many advantages at play. And I thought Christina was being strategic and smart, where she said,
Mhm.
"I'm going to play my idol, and everybody's going to vote for you, and then we're going to put one vote on somebody else in case it's a tie, and all these things." That kind of strategy is what we've been missing this
Yes.
entire game. Um, I really liked the pre-travel um, like conversations.
Mhm.
Have you seen that meme where it's just a girl like looking up in the air and there's all these math problems above her
Yes.
head, and it's like that's what I was doing because I was like, okay, well, how many people would do
Yeah.
this? How many people would do this? If and but or,
Right.
and I think it was totally well, and from a viewer standpoint, up in the air going into tribal.
Mhm.
I could have been Savannah. It could have been. Oh, I thought it was going to be Savannah or Steven, maybe Rizzo. Um, but nothing made me think it was going to be Juwan. Did you think?
Yeah, so there
Or
was a conversation. It really started back, and I want to say this because it just made me so mad and it really like impacted my view of Sage and her game. When she told Sophie S about Christina's idol after telling her about trying to get Savannah out, I was like, this is all going to implode because there's no way that Sophie S is going to turn on them. And somehow, some way, one of those people is going to go out. And I forget at what it was. I think it was sometime between before the immunity, or sorry, the tribal council, that they were all talking about the fact that Jawan and Sage were riding the middle and flipping because they had voted with them in the last tribal council, but they found out from Sophie S that Sage and Juwan were gunning for Savannah, so they were like, "It's we got to get rid of one of them." And there was a little bit of talk of it still being Steven, and I truly think it should have still been Steven because he's the one that's proving himself in these challenges. Like he can be a person who could win multiple individual immunity challenges in a row, um, and could be a threat. I think with the jury. So I think he would have been the smarter move, but I think there was just too much buildup of the Sage Jawan thing. I actually thought that because they were talking about Jawan so much, it would end up being Sage. So I was a little bit surprised that it was him and not her, but I did sort of anticipate one of them going. I was more surprised by the fact that more advantages weren't played, but I think it's really, really, really good for Sophie B for so many reasons that she didn't have to use her knowledge as power or even tell anybody about it. Um, I thought that was pretty good. I liked
yeah,
that.
it was. So now there's only two advantages that are out there. So Sophie B's got
Mm.
her. Oh, the only solution, Mary. The only solution is she takes Rizzo's idol,
And I think she will.
puts an idol back in play.
Well, it depends on. Well, okay. So when's the last time you can use an idol, and when's the last time
I don't know that answer.
she can use her knowledge as power, and would they be the same? Because she could save it. Presumably, they're just going to start picking the others off now, unless one of them wins immunity. So it's going to be Christina, or probably my guess on the order of people going home now would be Steven, Sage, Christina. Um, so whenever they get to maybe a final four, if they can still use it, then I don't know if they can. Um, that's when I think she'll do it, is because she won't tell anybody, and then she'll be like, "Well, Rizzo, you're my biggest threat, or Savannah, you're my biggest threat, so I have to use it on one of you to increase my chances."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can totally see that. This
Mhm.
season so far has been a predictable city. I mean, I may not be able to know exactly who's going home every single week, but it's like down to two or three players. Like we pretty much know who they're gunning for um, each time. I don't know. As the season went on, I feel like the challenges have been significantly fun to watch. The strategy is finally getting to where it should have
Mhm.
been as soon as the merge happened. Um, but outside of that, I still hate that I think that this is the most lackluster Survivor season I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it's like it was boring for so long, like nothing was happening. And then when things started happening, these crazy other things happened that canceled out that potential excitement, like, giving half of them immunity in the first individual immunity challenge, and then giving the extra vote, and the knowledge, like all these things being in the mix that really just cancel out any potential for anything that isn't completely predictable happening, is ruining any excitement that there may have been, I think, ultimately.
Yeah. And there are so many like loose ends that don't get tied up, like the chickens, for example.
Becca must know what happened to the
Yeah.
chickens.
Did you eat them? Is Sage upset about eating them? Sage, I will say one negative thing about Sage. Why are you crying about the chickens and then eating them? If you're crying about the chickens, don't eat the chickens. You can't do both. You can't do both.
I kind of get it, I guess. If you've never actually seen where food comes from or how it's processed, maybe she's been living under a rock.
Well, then don't eat it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
How did
uh,
you feel about Christina playing her idol for Steven?
sad. Sad. They played her like a fiddle. They knew that that was going to flush her idol. They knew that she was going to get scared and play it because everybody's playing scared except for Savannah and Rizzo and the Sophies.
Hmm.
Everybody's playing scared, and they know that. And they know that because Savannah's a reporter.
Such a threat. Oh my God, if she wins this season, I will never hear the end of it being because she's a reporter. I
So she's going
bet.
to report on it. She's going to get another reporter job so she can report that she's a reporter.
The only thing she said today that I was like, that kind of makes sense, but still not warranting the rest of the discussion about her being a reporter, is the whole like reading people and their reactions and their body language and stuff. And if she was a kind of journalist that interviewed people and had to like um, try to,
Like an
get
investigative
information and stuff like
person.
that, like, okay, maybe, but still, get over yourself, lady.
Yeah, I'm annoyed by that. But I hate that we know who's in season 50, and maybe it's because I've been more intimately involved with Survivor since we've been doing this podcast this season. But there are so many leaks that are like valid and accurate that it's hard. It's hard
Mm.
to pay attention and keep up, and then also not be surprised and um, genuinely surprised. That's the best, is when you go into tribal council literally not knowing anything.
Yeah.
That is one thing. This episode, we went in and I had no idea. I, I mean, I had a few ideas, but I didn't. There are multiple ways it could have gone, and I would have
Yeah.
been like, oh, okay.
I even though I felt like the obvious thing would be Sage or Jawan, this was an episode where I felt like there could have been things that we didn't see that impacted who got voted out. Um, it just happened that there weren't for me
Yeah.
personally. But I even going into it, before Rizzo played his fake idol, I was like, there's still a chance that this could all work out. And I really, honestly, I think it could have been really, well, probably ended up, would have been stupid, but it could have been cool if he let it go and Savannah got voted out. Um, or if he used it on Jawan just out of nowhere and blindsided Savannah. Just because,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, because
That
that
would
would
have
be a
been.
big power move for him, but then he would be the next on the chopping block if he didn't win immunity. So he
But
probably
John's a
didn't get that.
puppy. He needs a home. He
Right.
would have been.
That's true. I mean, certainly they could have won Rizzo over, but I don't know. I feel like Sage would have still been like, he was the second in command. He's powerful. He's got all these things, up his sleeve. Um, I
If she
love.
was a basketball coach when they all rounded up, she would be like, farts on three.
I still love Sophie B, and I want her to be a contender. I'd be really happy if she won. But I also kind of would have been secretly happy if all of the idols got flushed and then she had this knowledge is power but couldn't do anything with it.
Ooh.
Just because that would have been like a fun twist. And because as much as I love her and have since the beginning, I don't like where she is in this alliance because she can't win against Sophie or Savannah or Rizzo. And so the longer she sticks with them, the more concerned I am for her game. Um,
In the sneak peek of next episode, she's
I
talking
missed
to.
it.
Oh, do you want to know?
Yes, tell me all about it.
Okay, the Sophies are talking, and Sophie B tells Sophie S that she's willing to flip and vote Savannah out.
Oh.
So if that's the case, the Sophies need to stick together, and the Sophies need Sage. Is everybody's name start with an S except Rizzo? No, Christina. Rizzo and Christina um, are the only two non-S's. Maybe they could form an S brigade and take out the A's and the R's.
I love that. Okay, interesting. I feel like that's gonna likely be either a 1 second conversation that goes nowhere in the next episode, or it's gonna be one of them trying to get the other one voted out by who was it? It was in the last season, I think, maybe the one before, where they were. Was it a Camilla and oh God, what's his name? Who? Kyle. Maybe they were trying to do something. I forget who it was, but somebody basically, or maybe sorry, I don't. It doesn't matter who it was, but somebody got somebody else to say that they wanted to vote out somebody from their alliance, and then that information got taken back to the alliance, and they voted out the person who said they would do it, but it was the other person who like set them up for that. I want to say it was Kyle and oh, I forget his name, but he had like the big bushy beard and like the tree trunk legs. I think Kyle convinced him to say that he would vote out whomever, and then Kyle ran back and told the alliance that, and so they voted that guy out, or something like that. I don't know where I was going with that. That was quite.
I keep forgetting that people can just blatantly lie too, and that happened this season either. But anybody could go to anybody and be like, "They said they're going to pick you," or they have this, or they and like there's nobody can say roll the tape until after.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Unless you're sneaking in bushes and listening.
Yeah,
There's not enough of that going on this season.
Well, Savannah.
Sophie B did it.
Sophie B, yep, she did. She did. Overall, I think it was a relatively good episode. Continuing the predictability, that's not a word, of season 49. But we'll move on and see who Savannah and Rizzo decide to vote out next.
I love it. I'm excited. I can't wait to see. And I'm going to keep holding out just the slightest bit of hope that
something crazy
someone
happens.
will turn in that alliance, if nothing else, just for the excitement of it.
Yeah.
I
really want to end an episode where my mouth is like involuntarily hung open. Yeah. Like,
ooh, okay. Quick prediction for next week before we end. What if either Steven or Sage wins immunity and the other one finds Christina's idol that will be back up for grabs, and they can convince everybody to, like, if we know Savannah and all them are going to vote for whichever one of them doesn't win immunity, and then they can throw votes on one of them and get one of them out. Because if they don't know that the idol's out there or that somebody got it, maybe that's an option.
Or I can even just see Sophie, Sage, and Steven all looking at each other, and somebody being like, "We can't beat Rizzo and Savannah. We can't beat Rizzo and Savannah."
That is the conversation they have to have, and if they can't have that conversation by next episode, there's just no hope, and I'm giving up. Like, let Savannah or Rizzo win, because it's stupid at that point.
Yeah.
What if Sophie B decides that she doesn't know that anybody has an idol, but she's like, screw it, I just can't take the chance that they might, so she asks one of them anyway, and they do. That would be fun.
I would like that. I would like the Sophies. Okay, I don't think Christina or Steven have enough in them, and I think Sage is all of the air has been let out of her balloon. I think she's done skis. Our only hope are the Sophies.
Yeah.
For any kind of vengeance against Rizzo and Savannah.
I just feel like Sage won't give up. I feel like she's gonna come back angry.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I don't know about Steven, but
yeah, my only issue with Sage is I feel like she's not playing the game. She's coming back for revenge, which okay. I know I
I
hate
mean,
it.
her whole thing is like she has good ideas, but poor execution and poor judgment in terms of like who she's telling what. And I think you had a good point earlier when you said like two people can't beat six people. So she had to, take a chance and try to get somebody else in their group, especially from that group of four.
Yeah, so somebody had to go across enemy lines.
Yeah. So I
But that
guess,
you don't air out everybody's dirty laundry. You
yeah, she
sprinkle
did
it
too
a bit.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or
But
she
anyway,
could have said, "I heard Christina might," or "I think like it's between Savannah and somebody else." Like it was just too much, too direct,
yeah.
too soon. I totally agree with you. Well,
All
we'll
right.
see. My prediction next episode is Steven's going home.
That's pretty valid. Solid choice, I think. Mine would be um, Steven, unless he wins immunity, and then it'll be
Yeah.
Sage.
Okay. Well, we will see. Thanks everybody for watching. This was really fun to chat about this
Thanksgiving
week.
yesterday.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. All right.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.